we're back once again. We're back once again for a nice little Monday morning here. I am very low energy today, actually. I'm very low energy because I spent the last not the last 3 hours, but 3 hours at this particular evening up and not doing well, mostly in the bathroom, of course. I made the great mistake. Of eating many slightly spicy but very numerous beef sticks or beef jerky sticks, whatever the fuck they are. You get them from Costco. We went to Club Costco and I fucked myself, man. It was very bad. Lesson learned. Feels terrible. Feels very, very terrible. I even weighed myself this morning. I was like 2 or 3 kilos less than I was just yesterday. Crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. Anyways, there are actually more things to speak about today than there have been in recent times with Bitcoin and just markets in general, because we are in Santa week. We're in Santa week in which the markets generally rally, and the markets are rallying right now. Absolutely beautiful. Bitcoin's up over 1.25%. Unbelievable. It's that I'm doing the meme right now. Up 1%, down 90%. No, it's obviously not down, but 90%, but it is up, and that does feel nice. And that's exactly what this rally is about. It's a Santa rally. It's meant to make you feel nice into the holiday season. No one wants to be feeling like shit at the dinner table unless you buy a bunch of shit coins, but hey, that's on you. And of course, markets in general just going up, 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 and fucking away. If we go over here to SPY futures, I can see that SPY futures already up 0.5% to start off this week. That is, I know this is crazy to the crypto bros out there in the world, but that's actually pretty big to start off, in just less than one day. I'm still bullish on this, still looking for this one to go up into the right. I think that we probably even see new highs before end of year here, and at the very latest, probably January of this coming year. Overall, the story is very simple in traditional markets. As long as you're above last week's low, that is effectively the higher low to be managed off of. That does also imply invalidation below on any sort of inherent short-term, medium-term bullishness. Obviously, long-term doesn't really change around here until you're back down below the November lows. But, if we were to see last Friday's low taken out, or sorry, just last week's low taken out, then yes, I would be looking at that as an objective signal that Bitcoin, no, SPY futures want to come back down and played a bit of a short-term correction. But for right now, this thing is primed to move up and to the right. And again, I'm just holding long and strong on these. Same thing with NASDAQ over here, but just not as strong, to be fair, compared to SPY futures, but same sort of analysis right here. Do we see a dump back down to that red 5 EMA at 25.5 to reconnect? And then, some more upside price action, perhaps, yes. But again, it's last week's low. That is the major bias buster right there. And until you're below there, it's up and to the right. It's up and to the right. Don't even make it any more complicated than this. Even fucking Coinbase is rallying up 3%. Start off this week and start off this day. And like I said, this week is just generally a week where you can kind of throw darts at a board and things will kind of go up into the holidays. And that's more or less true until the end of the year right now. Not fully true for everything. Obviously, if you're holding like herpety derp, useless shitcoin XYZ, yeah, I think you're fucked. You might be fucked. It's very possible, or at the very least, probably not gonna be going up that much. But ultimately, for the real stocks, for the real commodities, they get to float up right now, and then the real market begins once again in January of 2026. Which I do think a lot of things could probably be happening around that time. But until then, I do want to acknowledge gold has made new all-time highs. We spoke about this in yesterday's traditional market video. It's making actually significantly new all-time highs as of right now, well above the prior highs in October of 43.80, now 44.36, which is a big move for gold. Again, same story here. It's just stay long and strong, or at least I would be saying long and strong, as long as we're especially above last Friday's low. It's well above there right now, but even that would not be terrible if it were to be taken out, just kind of destroy the short-term rally attempt. Although this to me, for all intents and purposes, does look like a real breakout in progress, similar to what SPY is kind of cooking up as well. But hey, if you take out last Friday's low, I guess we'll be looking for another corrective move back down to low 4,000s, like 4,100. That's still going to be a higher time frame higher low though. So, no matter which way you cut it, I mean, the trend is begetting more trending behaviors. Amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Fuck, man. I really do feel like shit today. It's actually crazy. I'm curious how the hell I'm going to get through this live stream, but we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. And I have good hope. I have good hopium for myself today. Anyways, one moment. I need to take a lot of this damn water. Oh, yeah, there he is, Mr. Fibbo Swanee. What's up, man? Good to see you. And yeah, those metals making some moolah, some fucking moolah. Not even gold. I mean, it's, well, of course, gold is doing its thing, but silver has really been the star of this show in more recent times. A really impressive move here. I remember back in the summer, it's more like Q1 leading into summer. Yeah, spring into summer. We were looking at this as really fucking bullish for silver. I couldn't have told you it was going to do an epic biblical move like this, but hey, that's I guess that is a setup in this particular instance. And again, as we draw closer to the end of this year, look at the quarterly time frame. The quarterly time frame is well above all prior highs, of course, going all the way back to 1980, by the way. And with only basically 9 days left to go in the trading month, closing anywhere above those prior highs of $50. I mean, it's hard not to look at this as be getting a major, mega macro breakout. A breakout of the likes we have not seen since 1980, I guess. So what? That's like what, 45 years ago? Kind of fucking crazy, man. These markets run deep. These markets run long. Most of us probably weren't even born by then. I know I wasn't. I wasn't born in 1980. So there you go. Anyways, traditional markets looking overall good. Bitcoin, it's following, and we do expect it to follow. I'm still sticking with my story that Bitcoin is likely to rally from here. I think that it probably has a pretty decent rally, but it's just not as strong as traditional markets, unfortunately, and it is going to be a continually waiting game, I do believe. But for now, and probably into early January of this coming year, I am just looking at Bitcoin as a likely to float up and to the right. I think that this current move will very likely get at least to that green 55 EMA. We're about to see, or very likely to see, that cross between the red and the yellow moving averages, which if that does indeed happen on the next closure, I would be initiating a targeted region towards that green 55 EMA. Tried just a couple weeks ago, riding over here in early December, failed, however, and that is a pretty objective signal that I really like to follow to get these corrective moves. But even then, that would just put Bitcoin right around, let's say $94,500, something like that, the highs that we saw on Monday, the 8th of this month of December, and that is more or less the highs of your range right now too. So, I'm not necessarily suggesting it's going to break on the next pass, but if it does, then that's what really leads the roads open to this mega. What in my opinion was probably going to be a corrective move, to be honest with you, but a pretty decent rally here, probably into the low 100s. I mean, if we do look at a Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low of this current move, the high being 126, the low being like $80,500, the 50% retracement level, which is a very commonly tagged level on even on corrective moves, is all the way at just above 103,000 US dollars. 618 fib is at 108,900. That seems a little bit further to me, and of course the daily 200 simple is in a very interesting place because it is at about 107.5, which is that prior high from November, as you can see right here. That to me is a very, very important high, because while I do think that this rally that we're going to get for these next few weeks is likely to lead higher, I am personally viewing this with a very skeptical lens until it is above that number. So I would be happy to change my opinion, as always, if we do get new information, aka closing above 107.5 and reclaiming that prior high. At that point, I actually do turn into a real bull. But for now, I'm just kind of like a short-term bull. And then, any sort of rejection here does fit the bill for a general bull trap that you would kind of expect near the end of a cycle. Now, I'm happy to be wrong on that. I hope that I'm wrong about that. But, there are just many technical signals that I've been following, especially with momentum oscillators and also timing as well, that do suggest, it's time to be a little more defensive. Is that going to be right or is it going to be wrong? Time will only tell, of course. But one thing that does stick out to me very, very clearly right now, and still because it has been true now for over 2 months, is that if you believe in the 4-year cycle, you don't have any reason to believe that it is currently negated, meaning that it's currently invalidated, because the 4-year cycle would have accurately predicted the highs in October of this year. And of course, we saw the highs in early October of this year and no new highs since. Thus, the 4-year cycle by what's it called, deduction, is still valid. Of course, it won't be fully invalidated until we really see Bitcoin, make a new all-time high within, I would say, less than 1 year from October of this current year, 2025. So if we do see Bitcoin make a new all-time high, especially within the next few months, that would certainly invalidate it and very much confirm something that I hope to be true, but I just don't see the most important piece of evidence in just yet. But again, I do hope that it is true that, we do get decoupled from the 4-year fucking cycle. But ultimately, ultimately, until that happens, it is just a phantom. It's just a possibility. And if we are going to follow the general trajectory, a rally here makes a lot of sense, but also rejection, below about 107.5, anywhere below 107.5, does not look too hot, to be honest. So again, do have to acknowledge that. Again, despite my personal views, that is just, it's just a fact of price right now, unfortunately. But hey, if Bitcoin did reclaim 107.5, I think it would be wise to front run even waiting for the current ultima to get reclaimed. I would say that's probably good enough for me. At that point, I'm going to generally be just full on fucking bullish. But for now, it's just short-term bull. For me, at least, I'm looking for this move at least to get back up to the top side of this range. Let's say 93.5 to 94.5. If it can break above that range, which I think there's a good possibility it will, then yes, somewhere in this zone right here, still making a lot of sense. If we go over here to some daily price action statistics, we can see the daily time frame has already played off the top side of the range, that being about 90,000 and change, and did come down actually significantly on that first pass all the way to about 89.5, 89.3, somewhere around there. I saw in the early portion of the stream. Now rallying back up to 90,000 bucks. But again, if you were looking for that scalping play, it was right there in front of your face for the millionth fucking time. At this point, it's like you either get it or you don't. But I do want to continue to be presenting these because I want to hopefully find one that actually happens, during stream. But I think with the timing of these streams, that's just less and less likely. And funnily enough, for the past 2 days, we saw really neither side tested on this. So there actually was not, for once in a very long time, an actual opportunity for a scalping position on either side using this indicator right here. But yeah, if you want to be in and out, if you just want that intrabar scalp, not anything super crazy, especially when it comes to returns, that's what I'd be looking at right there. Again, when it comes to the higher term timeframes, another reason why I do think Bitcoin is just kind of very much more likely to rally from here is based off the fear and greed index. And actually, I'm gonna try to convince Pesto to rename this the Pesto fear index, because I think it's a lot easier to attune these sort of sentimental indicators to fear rather than to greed. Or at least if I was going to do greed, I'd want to do a separate sort of template right there. But as it stands right now, and I spent a lot of time playing with this over the weekend, I don't know if these are the settings I'll exactly settle upon, but I do want to acknowledge that there's a really big there's a really big new development with last Friday's or basically last week's closure. And that is two things. One, we are experiencing extreme fear reads, which, that happens more often. It does happen, but that in and of itself is not a signal to just plainly buy. Obviously, just look at this. Look at this right here. It got into extreme fear reads on my settings as soon as that first October dump happened, and obviously Bitcoin came down significantly from there. About 20% from that number. So it is then, in my experience, very wise to be pairing this up with a momentum oscillator of some sort. In this case, I'm using the stochastic oscillator. I don't know if I'll end up using this fully for this setup, but this one, is generally right now. I just feel like it could be better. I think maybe I'll have to reorganize the settings on this or just use a different momentum oscillator. But when we see the weekly stochastic momentum oscillator cross the upside at the same time that we're getting extreme fear reads, these have generally been major lows, particularly throughout this cycle and also in past cycles as well. So the last time we saw this particular setup was right here. This was right here in April of this year, right after the weekly low. And after that, yeah, we did see an extreme fear read, and we did see that weekly stochastic momentum oscillator cross to the upside simultaneously. And that obviously led Bitcoin to new all-time highs. If we go back to the most recent iteration before that, it would be actually right here. Get it right. Yeah, it would be right here, not perfectly on the low. Or I guess actually, if we do it, yeah, if we do actually do it on that first cross, yeah, it was on the low. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Again, I don't think it necessarily needs to be exactly on the low, particularly, but anywhere around there is good enough. And in this case, yeah, it did get pretty much the low for that summer consolidation. And what happens from there? Bitcoin moves to the moves up to the right. I do want to acknowledge though, on this particular one, it was pretty tumultuous. While it did say, hey, the signal is valid right here, Bitcoin rallies up initially, but then falls back down, even below the what would have been that entry price if you play that one straight up. So it's going to test you, obviously. But again, when it comes to the greater picture, these are pretty good entries generally. Anyways, moving onwards and forwards, obviously not a signal right there. Stochastic oscillator is still positioned to the downside. Would have liked to have seen it fire off a signal right here, but it didn't. And then, of course, the other one that we can speak about is right here. I'm getting a call right now. It's probably delivery. Just one moment. Always a fucking, always. This is live as fuck, baby. This is live as fuck. One moment. Okay, we're back. We're back. As always, my mom has missed the signal. She's missed the signal. All she had to do was open up a door. Didn't open up a door. We should flush her. No, kidding. We're not going to flush her. We're not going to flush her, at least not right now. She's been very, very helpful recently, in fact. Anyways, yeah, this signal did get the prior market cycle low for the 2022 saga. And then all of these right here, these were not signals because we did not see a simultaneous cross the upside with that stochastic momentum oscillator. So it did avoid, or this setup in particular did avoid all of these. So you got it? She got it? Okay, cool. All right. These ones over here, again, same thing, no signals. This one over here did have a signal, did produce a pretty nice bounce, even though it was a bull trap. So this might be what we're kind of looking at on this current setup. This would have been about the same positioning if you are following the 4-year cycle. Again, if you believe the 4-year cycle is true, I mean, that is a valid statement as of right now, to be fair. It hasn't been negated just yet. But yeah, anyways, moving on from there, we got this one right here. Again, fresh cross was right here. Boom, very close to the low. Took some time, did test you again to the downside. But again, long term, that was an amazing buy. Same shit over here. Same shit over here, same shit over here. You get the idea. So we'll go onwards and forwards. Anyways, my point is that with this setup, I personally just don't want to be betting on downside as of right now. I do think just things are more likely to bounce here. If Bitcoin were to get a 20% bounce, that'd be amazing. I don't have confidence going to see something like that. But if it did, that actually puts you at 107.5, which is kind of crazy how these numbers align. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Again, as long as Bitcoin's below 107.5, I personally look at whatever bounce that we may be getting as a trappy or a bull trap style sort of bounce there. Anyways, moving on from there. No, we've already kind of gone over this chart. Just one moment. I need to be fucking chugging this water today, man. I am massively dehydrated. I must be. But yeah, I do want to acknowledge again that we did see regular bullish divergence actually on Friday's closure. Bitcoin did put in a very slightly higher low. It was very, very slight, but yeah, it was there indeed. Or sorry, a slightly lower low with a slightly higher low on the daily RSI. The easy portion of that move is already played out. Again, my personal opinion is that this one will go back up to the top side of the range, 94-ish, give or take about $500 from that number. Anything else here that I feel like I missed? 5-day time frame. Yeah, if it can reclaim the 5 EMA here, which it has not ever since this major downside move began all the way back in October. If it could reclaim on this next period, which actually closes today above 90,380. So this could be actionable today. Then yeah, I'd feel that that's just added confidence. We're going to at least see a move to the top side of the range, probably a breakout. Personally, I'd be looking towards 100. That is just my personal opinion on this one. Anyways, okay, what's going on right here? I'm getting crazy messages as always. I actually bought one of these apps on Instagram. It was like an Instagram advertisement, one of these bullshit ones, but it was doing like history. It was doing like special history stories, and I bought it. And I'm probably the one person who actually fucking bought these things. I will tell you, I've learned a lot, and I actually like it. I actually like it quite a bit. There we go. All right, cool. Anyways, yeah, not really too much else to be updating here. We are starting to get some dots on the crown oscillator, but that is not a signal in and of itself. It's just saying, hey, don't get super bearish right now. Anyways, moving on from there. Well, we've already kind of seen weekly stochastic momentum for Bitcoin. It's getting its first cross to the upside since, we did have a kind of a fake signal right here in September, but that was from a very high level. Last time we saw it from these levels was back in April of this year. So this has been a long time seeing anything like this. I think the biweekly time frame closed as well. Indeed, it did. And this one's going to continue to the downside. Not fucking good right there. And still under pressure, I should mention as well. Anyways, I'm looking for something else. Yes, here's the big one. So the HPDR, and I believe someone sent in a super chat about this earlier, or asked about it earlier, and I wanted to definitely get into this one as well. So we have seen the 5-day HPDR setup play out now. It didn't play out in the way that I think many people, myself included, would want it to. It would be a lot easier if it had, because it would still be having some upwards targets. But yes, we have seen price now meet the median. We have seen price meet the median after going very far away from the median and on extreme volatility, which then did go into, of course, a contraction phase. And now we actually have revisited that. So if you were looking for that setup, unfortunately, sometimes that's just how it looks. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It is what it is. If Bitcoin can reclaim the median on the next period, which actually won't end for another 4 days, so we got a long ways to go on this one, I would generally be looking for a Bing and Bong play in which we do see the top side of the 38 spot 2 level hit, which is still 101, but that's less of a high probability setup. This setup right here is super high probability. In this case, it just didn't have any real edge. I mean, shit, if we would have played it straight up, we would have entered at 86.5, closed, I mean, basically today at 89.2. I mean, that's okay, but that's not really the major play that I would have been hoping to have gotten from this one. If we go over here to CME, we still have this one available as well. This one's going to actually fire off a new closure tonight. So I would say that the median, wherever this one settles on the new open, which we'll go over in tomorrow's video, again, going to be an area of interest. Hopefully that one doesn't come down in the same way that spot price action has. If I had to anticipate where this one's going to come down to, it's going to be around about 99 to 100,000 bucks. That would still open up the, that would still give us a nice probabilistic setup for a move higher around those regions. So we still kind of have it, but I feel like at some point you just start to look for something that you want to confirm your belief rather than something that is technically sound. But that is still there. It is still there. It's not necessarily just hopium just yet. But going over here and checking out the ribbons once again, I do want to acknowledge that there's a setup of brewing here too. So if the ribbons can close above the midline today, which is 89,712. So we've gone over a lot of these sort of numbers today, and you can see that a lot of them are around the same numbers, but they're coming at it from a different calculation, a completely different method. And this is yet another one, and that one is again coming in, let's just call it 90,000 bucks or so. If it can close above there today on the daily, at least I'd be looking for that move to the top side of the range, 93.5. From there, can we see more? Yes, the rev momentum oscillator is starting to turn up here, but at least that move would be very, very likely. So that's another $4,000 on top of current price action, with potential to break 4 more towards that next targeted region in the low 100s. But other than that, I think we've gone over pretty much all of the things that we've been speaking about for the past 2.5 weeks now. It's taken a lot of patience to see these things play out, but I do believe that this is the first sort of inkling of that move that we've been looking for. And hopefully patience gets rewarded in this instance. If you're not patient, however, well, fuck, I just got a runtime error. Hold on. I need to update these because I've not done that just yet. I have to do that after the stream. Fuck, I'll bring that one back for tomorrow, but there actually were some nice quantum wave band trades in the interim. Anyways, we shall go in and check out some good old super chats over here. Do you think QE Light has something to do with this rally? Look, all of these things matter, but they're always going on at some level. And I think trying to pontificate on these sort of things is just, it's a fool's errand. You're never going to know. You're never going to know. That's why the only thing worse than a technical analyst the only thing worse than a technical analyst is a fucking fundamental macro analyst, because they are worse than us. They really are. They really are, because there's just no fucking way to know, and no way to test their statements. It's just, in my opinion, it's just complete fucking hogwash. I mean, it's unusable. It's unusable, so much of it. Yes, there are some things that can be usable. We can create tangible signals based off of fundamental indicators. That can work. But that's a different thing than people pontificating upon, well, is the QE light and is the money printing in, and is the CPI going to affect it in this? It's like, you have no idea. I have no idea. We're all just fucking guessing. I would at least guess with probabilistic numbers based upon, tangible objective signals, using mathematics as a backbone for an indicator, rather than just, oh, I'm feeling some vibes about this. Like, go fuck yourself. It sounds right. It's intuitively, it sounds like you're a genius. But at the end of the day, I just see these people. I've rarely seen these people, despite listening to them very voraciously, by the way. I actually like to listen to a lot of them because it sounds good and makes me feel. I love listening to Saylor. I love listening to a guy like Jack Mallers. Do I think that they're always right? No. I mean, no one's always right, obviously. But do I think that they even really know? No. But I still like listening to them. It makes me feel good. And honestly, I learn a few things too. a lot about financial literacy. Anyways, I'll pin Elsa's message. Where is it? Long-term fundies, I call a narrative hodler with the spreadsheet and no exits. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that does seem to be the general MO for like big money managers, I guess. But I don't know, man. There is still something that separates them, because, of course, you can't compare like a Ray Dalio to a fucking Tom Lee. Like, these are two different things entirely, even though they're both macro investors. But one is going off of kind of the things that I spoke about earlier, I believe, and the other one's, going off of vibes. And I like Ethereum, and coding. I don't know. uh, Oh, I see a great super chat over here. It's out of order, but he says, "Evil gargoyle with sword says, are you aware hairy people are susceptible to a secondary hole above the Angus? Can you look at MIN on ASX?" Wait, what? What's up? Said something about a second hole? Yeah, yeah. That's what my dad always used to say. He's like, the only thing worse than a technical analyst is an economist. Notoriously wrong. Yeah, I mean, good luck understanding the economy. There's too many moving parts. I'm not even saying that like you're dumb because you don't understand the economy. No one understands it. There's too many variables, and too much tuna. You just can't properly account for it. It's an impossible task, in my opinion. Of course, I mean, show me someone who's done it like properly well, and I'll change my mind. But I've not really seen that. Anyways, let's go through some of these super chats here. Elsa's already got them saved up for me. We got Steven Schickman first. He's looking at a new name. Sats on NAS, I think, at least. He didn't say exactly where, but I'm going to guess because usually this is US centric. Weekly, monthly. I think last we looked at it, it was pretty good. Yeah. I don't know if you asked about this last time we looked at it, but I remember someone definitely did. And I remember thinking, yeah, this is a higher low right here. And this thing wants to move higher. I have the same thing to say about it today, Mom. I think that this thing is not done rallying just yet. It is in a real blue sky breakout. And the best thing to do in these instances, just get the fuck out of the way and hold. And until we see, I mean, we are starting to see some pretty extreme volatility on the monthly. That is concerning. But still, I don't even think that you have the highs in. Maybe not for this year, but very unlikely for even early 2026. I would be cognizant maybe like later in Q1 in 2026, you probably do get something resembling a local high in a swing back down. But for now, this is still good. This still wants to go higher. Yeah, other than that, I mean, you just got a new higher low as of last Wednesday. So I'd be using that as a nice pivot for an invalidation for staying just bullish, basically. As long as you're above about $100, nice round even number right there. Just be looking up and to the right below $100. I'd be looking for a corrective move down to like 91, 92 region. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, man. You're also looking at Ethereum too. Great, fucking great, man. Amazing. Let's go into Ethereum. Of course, this one's doing phenomenally as well, right? Above 3,000. Amazing. The returns cycle over cycle are looking very great at least for a shitcoin, I guess. I don't know. In terms of Ethereum, kind of have to be looking at the same thing as Bitcoin, right? If I think Bitcoin's going to bounce, do I think Ethereum's going to not bounce? Of course not. Ethereum should follow or at least not break down. And in this case, I'm probably looking at Ethereum heading back up to about 3,200 to 3,300, or sorry, 32 to 3,250-ish region. You're potentially going to get that same cross as we do have on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does it though, Ethereum will follow, I imagine. I'm kind of anticipating Bitcoin going back to the top side of the range. The same range high for Ethereum, however, would be percentage-wise a lot higher than where it's at right now. That'd be 3,450. Maybe that's right. Maybe that ain't right, but wow, that seems like kind of a lot from right here, but well, I don't know. Kind of a hard chart for me, to be honest with you. At any rate, I'll be looking at this move at least to get to about 3220-ish region, 3,200. Probably pull back a little bit, and that if Bitcoin does, really reclaim this prior range high, we should see this one pop back up to 3,450, or maybe even the 200 simple here at 36 or so. But I don't think it's strong on its own. Similar to traditional markets versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not strong. Well, Ethereum to Bitcoin is like that same relationship, except Ethereum is the weak one. Let's go check it out over here. I'm curious to see if we have any sort of momentum signals that are new. And the biweekly continues down here below 4,400 almost. That's not great. Weekly time frame is going to have a fresh cross the upside on very low volatility as long as it's above 2762. So again, like my sort of main message on a setup like this is that I just wouldn't be expecting new lows below the November lows. And, hopefully this thing can try something resembling a bounce in the interim. If it can trade back above those range highs, I do think you have some real hopium here, but that's still kind of well and far away, to be honest with the amount. So yeah, like I said, I think that you will rally up to 32, maybe a little bit more, but from there, I become less and less enthusiastic about this thing. I think it's going to depend upon how strong Bitcoin's rally is, respectively, because this thing is still in a pretty like harsh downtrend. I mean, they all are, to be fair, but yeah. The fuck is Sats? Sats is a stock. It's also a unit of account for The Bitcoins, actually, if you didn't know. Anyways, right now 97 says GM Crown. What's up, man? Monero. Yeah, Monero's been one of the ones that's been looking best. I remember from last week. I'm curious to see if it's followed through now, because this would be the time for it to do such things. It has slightly traded higher, which is good, but this is the time for something like this to try a breakout. I mean, if not now, then fucking when, man. If not now, then when? You got monthly momentum to the upside. You're at the top side of the range. Just needs to. It's like fucking Happy Gilmore standing in front of that goddamn hole, saying just tap it in. Just tap it in. Just go above 470. Close the monthly above there and break out. Tap it in. Go home. Don't you want to go home? You little stupid fucking ball. You little stupid fucking shitcoin. Don't you want to go home and go up? It's got privacy features. If you didn't know. Privacy features, indeed. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, as far as altcoins go, this one does objectively have the strongest chart that is in a real position to break out, but it's still kind of hesitating at the level that you just want to see it push through. So, realistically, this should be viewed on a monthly basis, in my opinion, and the monthly will confirm a breakout above 490. Or, oh my God. I'm actually a redact. 470. I can't speak. I have dyslexia. I'm underslept, and something else is going terribly wrong in my brain, I think. But yeah, with momentum up like this and volatility rising like this, and you're already at the top side of the range, like, I would be really, really focused on the monthly here, and I'd be looking for what December closes above or below. If it's above 470, I think this thing is going to march on to new all-time highs for a while in Q1 of 2026, and it's probably going to be like the hot thing for a while. Something like that. Daily time frame, I guess I'd be bullish here as long as you're above last Wednesday's low of 407 and a quarter. It's a price action pivot as well, so I like that for a good bias buster in the short term. Below there, I'd be looking for a greater correction, maybe even like a full-on fake out if that happens. But for now, give it a chance. This would be the time to do it if it's going to do it at all. Anyways, and you're also looking at Monero versus the Corns. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Whoops, maybe I could actually type it properly as well. That would be a good idea, right? I don't know. I guess we go to Finex for this one. That's probably gonna be the longest running exchange for this pair. The pairing here, is what actually does make me, I guess, somewhat skeptical that it's actually gonna break out versus the dollar, because versus Bitcoin, this would be objectively the place that I'd be looking for the next monthly lower high. We got extreme volatility. We are at the green 55 EMA, which is what stopped the last rally, and it's still a downtrend. I mean, it's been a downtrend it's been a downtrend for forever, more or less. So, this is generally where I expect my lower highs to come in around when things are trending. And as of right now, it's not rejected yet, but I'll give you a very objective signal to confirm if it does reject. And it's the price action pivot right here. Whatever this ungodly number is, like 39,700 Satoshis. If you come back down below there, I'd call this the next macro lower high, and this thing ready to trade sideways and down, continue with the long-term trend. It's just never been in an uptrend. So I feel very, 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 unconfident to call a reversal here. I don't see a reversal yet. The only way I'd really consider a reversal long term is if you actually reclaim that 2023 high, and that's significantly higher than where you're at right now. It's not even really worth waiting for. So I feel like if you want to hold something like this, it's got to be on vibes right now that you just believe it's going to break through. Because technically, this would be suggesting Bitcoin should be a better hold than Monero, just in terms of not losing money or perhaps gaining a little bit more money. I would imagine for the next few months, should top out around here. Maybe like one spike up and then a quick rejection and then follows through to the downside. But yeah, this would be the point of maximum failure, in my opinion. If it breaks out, amazing. If it doesn't, well, yeah, it's like, what did you expect? It's been doing this since fucking 7-8 years ago. All right. Amazing. Isn't the EU drafting a crypto structure bill as well? My man, I read to inform you, nobody, absolutely nobody cares what the fuck the EU is doing. Why? Because they're aggressive, degrowthing soy boys who have been castrated and feminized. There, I said it. I will show you evidence of such things. I've done the back test. I know what I'm talking about, and I will show you very much full-on proof that you cannot deny ever, and you will adopt the same. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. I'm a redact. Where is he? Hold on, I'm looking for him right now. I will find him. This is pure evidence. You cannot deny this sort of evidence. This is the sort of evidence that proves that people are lizards as well. I've seen it before and I will see it again. Fuck, where is this? Come on. I'm going to find it. I'm telling you, I am not finishing this fucking stream before I find this shit. I'm not finishing this goddamn stream before I find this shit, and it's going to be found. So you better fucking help me find it. God damn it. Where the fuck is it? All right, hold on. I will employ a new strategy here. Here we go. I found him. Proof. It's proof. That's him. That's Daddy EU. He's looking at you right now, keeping you safe, legislating, and making sure that all the regulations are for your safety. That's exactly right. We need more safety, don't we? Look at his eyes. Look at his mouth. Very pretty. Or, wait, what? Oh, fuck. Now I'm turning into a Euro. I almost said it, but you know what I mean. Anyways, that's him. I just showed you the man himself. Anyways, Freddie M says, could BitF pump to $4 in the next few weeks? Anything is possible. The probability, however, may be very low. Let's see. BitF. This might be like a 3x rally or something like that. At least it's not a 2x rally. Could it pump to $4 in the next few weeks? I think betting on like $3 is actually a pretty good bet. Betting on $4, that would have to be Bitcoin at $100,000. I'm inclined. I really don't know for this thing, man. Like, these things scare me because they just don't have a good track history. I do think that you trade higher from here. I just don't know about $4. I think $3 is a good bet, maybe even three and a quarter. But $4, it's like, why even stop it at $4? If it's gonna go back above the November highs, I think you go all the way to like 4.5, maybe even 5. I mean, it could get quite nice there. But for now, I do think that you have a rally. I don't see the relevancy of $4. Maybe that's just your entry point or something like that. But yeah, if you reclaim that November high or November 28th high at 3.5, I think you're going past $4, to be honest with you. Probably just easier to watch what Bitcoin's doing here. If Bitcoin's above the top side of its range, you're probably going to be okay on that. I don't know about the next few weeks. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. Timing these sort of things is very difficult, obviously. But yeah. Anyways, I'd probably just blanketly say, it wouldn't be my first target. Arms Tribe, what's up, man? Bitcoin 5-day median HPDR dropped significantly down to 89,500. Does that mean we are more likely to go down from it? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that the upside setup is satisfied now. It's been validated, and we just wait for the next thing. But if you want a little bit of hopium, CME has the same setup, and that median is significantly higher as of now. We'll see where that comes in tomorrow, of course. Yeah. And again, to be very, very clear, it does not imply downside once that's been met. It just implies that we wait for the next thing to occur. We wait for the next signal. It does not imply directional resolution after that target has been met. Anyways, we got Tron Jeremy next. What's up, man? Solana 4 on daily, please. All good, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, I actually genuinely enjoy producing content during these times when things are relatively slow, because I feel like I'm speaking to, more of the people who just, I guess they care about this shit in the same way that I do, or they just are interested in the same way that I am. So I feel like I can talk a little bit more directly, a little bit more about like deeper concepts and maybe even stuff that isn't that helpful, but I think is interesting nonetheless. But yeah, man. Anyways, Solana 4 on daily, perhaps that's something that you should be listening a little bit more to. Maybe my content isn't that great because the message has got through. This is fucking terrible still. No, I'm kidding, man. Well, I'm not kidding, but that is just my opinion. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion as well, and I can be wrong. I mean, that's why we have markets, man. Anyways, looking at this, I'm sure that we have some bullish divergence here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 drives, a nice higher low on that daily RSI with that significantly lower low at 120. So I do think you're going to extend this rally at least a little bit more, at least to 130 in the short term. Personally, I think most things are going to be headed up to the top side of their daily ranges. This one is a bit on the weaker side though, compared to, most things, as it did make a lower low recently as well. But maybe it could get up to 145-ish region. If you're on the 4-hour time frame, Yeah, I think that you extend this run a little bit more towards 130, 133 in the short term. This is a time for bouncing. This is a time for trying some corrective moves at least. But long term, do I like this chart? No, I don't. Of course not. I mean, this is just god awful. I mean, look at the fucking quarterly. That's a swing high right there. It's a swing fucking high. Assuming this thing finishes anywhere below 145, but by the end of this month, which you only got 10 days left or less than 10 days left to go, that's a swing high. And if you just created a swing high, you can't go up until you create a swing low, on like a long-term fashion, of course. Private is back, says H-bar USD, short and long-term, please. Sure, ma'am. Wow, I haven't heard this one brought up in a long time. Whoops. And I also haven't spelled it in a long time either. Another example of a swing high. This one, again, assuming that this thing closed below 13 cents by end of month, I think you're a lot more likely to revisit the lows of 2023 and 2024 than you are to go up from here in any long-term fashion. So that would be your long-term. Your short-term, I do that on the daily. Short-term, I think you got to bounce here. But this one's so fucking weak, doesn't even have bullish divergence on the daily RSI. I do think you will at least tag the 21 EMA, which is 12, 30, 12 and a half, maybe even 13 cents. If things get really crazy, like absolute best case scenario, in my opinion, on a bounce, 14 and a half cents. But again, I think that there's just a corrective bounce for this thing incoming, and then long-term downside will continue. You just got a silver cross to the downside as well. That's not good. So yeah, whatever bounce that you get from here, which I do think you will get a bounce, I just think it's going to get faded. Yeah, I rest my case on the quarterly. That's pretty fucking bad, man. 12-month time frame. Not really much to look at there. Not really much going off of right there. Yeah, and the 6-month time frame, I mean, that is a swing lower high as well. So I think it's down for a while, man. Eve, sorry, yes, okay. MIN on ASX, yes, my second asshole. I'm not sure if I have a second asshole. I think you might be referring to my pussy, but I always knew about that. So joke's on you, sir. Anyways, daily and weekly, pretty good move here. It is into the 200 simple right now, and I generally don't like playing opposite of that when you're on your first pass of it, and you are on your first pass of it. But this is strong. I mean, this is bullish right here. This is what a breakout should look like. You got many drives of hidden bullish evidence on daily RSI. You got just a beautiful slew of higher lows. Technically, if you want to go by the book, yeah, I want to see a closure above the 200 simple, and then I think that this thing can really get moving to, mid 60s. But beware. I mean, this is like, if you want to go by the book, and this is what my mentor would have taught me very likely back in the day. A rally like this into the 200 simple on a higher term time frame like this, you're very likely going to get rejected, or at least you should be expecting a rejection. I'm going off of kind of the daily right now and the monthly as well. Both of these look good to me for at least a try higher to this descending trend line here, marked off of the price action pivots indicator, which is about 58 and a half, or sorry, no, it's about 59 and a half. And this was a pretty epic bounce off of the 200 simple. So you kind of got like the opposite thing going on here. On the monthly, you're bouncing off the 200 simple. That obviously happened a long time ago. You got the other thing happening on the other side here for the 200 simple on the weekly time frame. So to kind of illustrate my point, what I think is likely to happen here is I think that you actually will bust through in the short term towards 59 or maybe even $60, and then you'll pull back, and we'll see where that weekly kind of settles. But for now, I would actually still be favoring a little bit more short-term upside, to be honest. Anyways, Luffy Meridova, good morning to you. Could you check Pippin, please? I am short from 46 and a half cents, probably high as in. When can I add to my short? I don't know. Let me take a sip of this water, then we'll look at the chart. Okay. Pippin. My Pippin stocks. My Pippin stocks are going down. Yeah, I remember we looked at this one last week for you, and I said it's actually probably going to spike again higher, and it did. I think it even went a little bit higher than what I was anticipating, but do I think that this is going to be the high right here? Yeah, I still think the same thing as last week. Like, this is constructing a high here, and you have a great position. You're short from 43 and a half cents. 46 and a half cents. I mean, that's a fucking beautiful position. Holy shit. Absolutely phenomenal position. I think you're going to see some ebbs and flows along the way, but do I think this one's more or less topped? Yeah. You got 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence on what is literally a shit coin, a meme coin, in essence. Yeah, I mean, if there ever was a place for a major macro high, this would be it. This would be it. Like I said, there's going to be some ebbs and flow, and I'd be expecting a bounce attempt somewhere around 31 cents. But I think it bounces sideways and then you go down. But that might take, could take a few weeks to play out realistically. Tron Jeremy says, serious question. All right, I'm ready for a serious question. Maybe you or somebody here knows. What are eyebrows for? Eyelashes, I understand. Dolphins don't have eyebrows, so why? What's the use? I mean, if you're really asking, it's to keep the sweat out of your fucking eyes, man. Like, holy shit, was that so difficult? Kidding. But seriously, like, I sweat a lot, and my eyebrows definitely help. Not always. They're not always perfect, but they do a decent job of getting rid of most of it. But yeah, man. If you're looking for a joke answer, well, fuck you, dolphin. I don't know. Fuck you, whale, and a fuck you, dolphin. Blake7791 says, good morning, Crown. What's up, man? Can you make a video on strategies using the price action pivots and some using the CT indicator suite? I'm guessing, do you have those? I mean, are you looking for videos on YouTube or videos on the actual Teachable? Because the videos on the Teachable obviously exist. I could make them for YouTube. It's just, I go back and forth. Like, should I bother putting like instructional videos for paid indicators on YouTube? Like, I don't know, I don't think it makes that much sense in it. I don't know. Maybe it could be good. Maybe it ain't that good. But if you're asking for more videos in Teachable, I could consider that. Probably not today, though, because I feel like absolute shit. But I could put that on the to-do list. The to-do list is ever so long right now. We moved into our new house about a month ago. I'm telling you right now, ma'am, we still got a lot to go. But we've made a lot of progress. So I will say we made a lot of progress. Go with Boris's saludos from Colombia. Fuck yeah, man. Good morning to you as well. Bueno and hola and arrivederci, or I think wrong one. The Conservative Cat says Ion Q, weekly, monthly. I think I actually own a small position in this thing. Let's see. Elsa, what's Rosie doing? Good, but also a good chart right here. Yeah, so it's right back around that swing high that we saw from early December on hidden bullish divergence. I think it's going to push through here. I think this one does continue with the trend. Full disclosure, I do own this. I did buy this recently in this area here at around mid 40s. So maybe I'm a bit biased, but I do see some bullish divergence. I do see it's back around the prior swing high. I see momentum oscillators pointing to the upside. And again, this is the time for many of these things to try their rallies. So I think this continuation of trend right here, or at least to try to the upside in the short term. So yeah, the Conservative Cat is back. He's looking at Kratos. Yeah, this is another one that I own a very big position in, I should say. I have shaved off a lot since I did my initial video on it, or discussing my portfolio, but I do still own a pretty sizable position. So again, full disclosure, I am biased here. Do I think that this is the next higher low? Okay, if I'm on the weekly, I think it's possible, and of course it is possible. But I'd really be looking at last week's low as a major invalidation for this, because what really concerns me about this is the quarterly and the monthly. The monthly, that can very easily be a swing high. Right now it's not necessarily set in stone, but the quarterly, this is a doge yielder right there, and that's a signal of indecision. And if we see Q1 of 2026 trade below the low of this quarter, which is 64.80, I would have to capitulate on the rest of my position. It'd still be a major gain for me, but I would get rid of that position, because I think that this thing is going to ultimately fail if that happens. But for right now, it's still in a position of power. It's still got those higher lows. I'd be respectful of it. Personally, I could be very fucking bullish on it, but only if it really finishes this month out. I mean, above like 90 or especially above 90. If it could do that above 90, okay, yeah, I'm fucking Crown runs with bulls. I'm happy as hell. But below 90, I'm a lot less enthusiastic. But of course, I'll update on this one when I do another portfolio video. I'll probably do one at least in Q1 of this coming year. But for right now, it's like, yeah, it has a chance. Yeah, I think it goes up from here. Yeah, I think you're going to pop up and fill the gap at 87.25, but that's still, it's still not 90. So I need to see 90 before end of year, or at least as close as fucking possible to that number. Possible, yes, but right now, it's a quarterly that has me a little bit concerned. So yeah. The Von Yuck says, Christmas greetings from Luxembourg. Hell yeah, man. Luxembourg, I hear, is a quite nice place. DYLLF sounds sexual, actually. Deep yellow. All right. Maybe not so much. I mean, I guess maybe if it was deep purple, then that could be considered ebony. Anyways, nothing wrong with that, man. I've always wondered. Anyways, do I think this thing's going up? Yeah, actually, I think this thing's okay. It's an OTC bullshit stock, but it has an uptrend here, which most of these things do not. And you got hidden bullish evidence on what would be that last higher low. I think that this thing does head up, back to like 130, 140 region. Overall. Yeah, and even on the monthly right here, you got a phantom drive of hidden bullish evidence building. So it just needs to finish out the month here or higher, above 1.25, let's say. And I would just say this is just continuation of trend. Let it go, man. Then again, I look at the quarterly, and I need to see that move happen before end of month. Like I need to see that move happen before end of month. Because you kind of get that same sort of doji diddle here that you had on Kratos, right? So, that does set up a really easy invalidation below this quarter's low, which is 93 cents. Have to get bearish on top of, would have to get bearish from there if it were taken out. But for now, give it the benefit of the doubt. It's had a pretty epic run. Should try some more upside in the short term. Yeah, if it gets back to like 140, especially before end of month, I'd say I'm bullish, man, if that happens. Don't be shy, says Sir Crown. What's up, man? Any thoughts on the large expiration taking place Friday? The biggest expiration was actually this past Friday. That was your quad witching. So yeah, these sort of things get perpetuated by like fucking bullshit publications. There was 23 billion expiring on Friday the 23rd or whatever the fuck, man. Or this Friday, which is 26, Elsa's birthday, actually. But the big expiration was actually last week. That was quad witching, and that is typically where a lot of major pivots in the markets do happen. So, in my opinion, I don't think it matters. I hear these things all the time, man. They don't really seem to. It's great for getting social media clicks and eyes and views and stuff like that because it sounds so big. But realistically, even if this Friday, because it might be that you just like mix up last Friday with this coming Friday, but let's say the publication is true that it's this Friday. Look, if you have a big aspiration for this Friday, the people who have those positions, they're already making those decisions by now. They're not letting that go to expiration before they roll. They've already rolled it, or they're at latest doing it like today, but probably not even today because most of these people are professionals. They're not even at work this week. They're going to take weeks off like this. Basically between now and the end of the year, they just take off, at least in my experience. So yeah, man, I would say these things generally don't pay attention to them. Again, it's like, what do you even make as an analysis from that anyways? Doesn't really mean anything in and of itself. We'd actually have to know their positions, obviously. The conservative cat says Hive weekly, monthly. Sure. Cool. Hive coin or Hive Technologies. One moment. Can already tell this is a weird one. Yeah, and terrible, fucking terrible. Hidden bearish evidence on that last lower high to swing high. I think that this thing is coming down. This is what I'm talking about at putting in lower highs around that green 55 EMA. So whenever you're trending, I look for my lower highs there, and whenever you're going to the upside, I look for my higher lows there or around there, In this case, you got hidden bearish evidence on a rejection of that major moving average. This is my perfect setup for looking for a major downside. Back down to these lows, probably just continues with the trend. Yeah, don't like it if you couldn't tell. Looking at the weekly, you might get one more rally here. It's very possible. But as far as the long term goes, yeah, I'm not going to like something like this, obviously. You don't want no problems, says, what up, Crown? That sounds like a threat. You don't want no problems. Sir, we're on the internet, man. Please don't hurt me. What up, Crown? Peep this theory. All right, I will adopt your mindset here. The top of the market and euphoria was in January 2025 when Trump launched his meme coin. We've been in a bear for more than 10 months. Yeah, so in my experience, bear markets usually don't mean new all-time highs for the next almost full year, or at least 10 months until October. I'm going to have to, I personally just do not follow this logic. Bitcoin set a new high in a bear like last cycle. No, I don't even look at last, like you're talking about this right here. This was not this was not bearish. It just came down on a corrected move, then made a new high. That's bullish. You making new high. It goes back to the classic saying: the only thing more bearish than going down is going up. Or the only thing more bullish than going up is going down. These things are said by perma bulls and perma bears. I personally do not have the same sort of theory, but I'm happy to read yours but at the same time, I just don't follow the logic here. Some things. I just can't square those two things. Like, you can't have a bear market and be making new all-time highs. It just doesn't, those words cannot coexist. Maybe I'm just arguing semantics right now. So I'll go on to read the rest of your comment, because maybe that will shore it up. But you say, which goes together with the smaller bear market this time, like you're saying, because we've been in one for almost a year. Well, the bear markets usually last a year. So unfortunately, that would not be true. The smaller bear market could start from October, of course, and we just need to be less than a year in which Bitcoin finds a low. But in this case, generally Bitcoin plays out its highs to lows in about a year, going from macro high to macro low in a cycle. And that takes about a year. So I would say, even in the way that you're presenting it, at least from the way that I'm interpreting it right now, that wouldn't make sense, because it's already been a year basically. So it wouldn't be a smaller bear market anyway. So unfortunately, the consolation prize from even adopting this theory is not computing, or at least, again, in the way that I'm understanding it. Anyways, Freddie M says, could CLSK hit $20 over the next few weeks? I mean, the answer is always yes. The probability, however, might be very low. Do I think it's going to hit $20? No, I don't think it's going to get anywhere near $20 in the next week or two. Do I think it's going to try a short-term bounce attempt from here? I think this one's actually more likely to come back down to these lows. I'm not bearish on it, though. I just think it's a range play. And you come back down to these lows, put in another low and rally off that. Maybe it gets to $20 from there, but that's going to be like deep in 2026 if that happens. So do I think that that's going to happen in the next few weeks? No, I don't. I really don't. I think best case scenario in the next few weeks would be like $15 on a rally, but even then, I'm not fully. Yeah, I would say $15 best on a rally attempt from here. If it's going to hit $20, I think that's like a late 2026 things, after, coming back down to the bottom side of the range and trying for a higher low there, something like that. All right. Un momento. Probably do need to shut off the stream early, because I am really not feeling well today. I'll tell you straight up. Seething hatred boiling up from the Gold Coast, Australia. Fuck yeah, man. How you doing, Dale? Jesse Wilson says, Crown, not sure how the new haircut is, but I like it. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It only took 2 hair transplants and a shit ton of what is this? This shit over here. What's it called again? Finasteride. Fidurstride. Maybe it's playing out like December 2018. I think looking to past cycles for specific literal fractals is foolish. We just have never seen that play out. Looking at them in general guides for drawdowns and time spent, that seems to work quite well. So again, as of right now, we don't really have any evidence that says the 4-year cycle is actually donezo, but except for vibes. But yeah. Finasteride, come on, man. Gate Zinc. Actually, I got both, man. I got both. Harris mooning. Yeah. I still got plenty of gray hairs, man. I'll tell you that. I got plenty of gray hairs all over myself, even on my fucking shoulders and ball sack. Hoy says, people get unbanked here. Just last week, a Swiss. Wait, what? Just past week, a Swiss. If he has Cake Wallet, he can get donations or work income and live off the Cake Wallet credit card. Need a VPN. I guess I'm reading this out of context. Cavman says, love your psychology video from Saturday. Hell yeah, man. I'm really glad that you enjoyed that. Like I said, this is the times where I love, creating that sort of content, because I feel like the people who actually like it are gonna find it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. At some point, I'll come back to that presentation and add some things to it. But I think for now, it's in a really good place. I was very happy with the way that it turned out. And I think that was about the best that I could have done with that one, man. But yeah, all good, man. All good, Rave. All good, man. Good to see you as well, man. And Zinc and MSN. What's MSN? I don't know that one. for Derpist, yeah. Yeah, I do take zinc every night. I actually do get that. Watch hair guard for gray hairs. You need more copper. Yeah, I've heard this as well. I've also heard about doing peptides for copper, like injecting peptides into yourself. Don't do finasteride. I think it's dutasteride, actually. Take a little bit more looks at Bitcoins here, and then we'll call this one a day. Yeah, I haven't heard of MSN. To me, that means mainstream media, but I'm guessing that's probably not what that means in this context. 2-week charts show a potential full bearish trend only if the 1-2-week candle closing below 85K. If it closed below 85, it's continuation trend. I'd kind of say more or less same thing. I would say 84, but yeah, basically same shit at those numbers. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but personally, I'm still looking for a bounce from here. Just is what it is. Awesome, man. Hell yeah. Very, very glad to hear that, man. Very glad to hear that. At SPYI for the, wait, what? Is this a request? Is it SPYI? Is that the ticker? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I see. It's like a dividend ETF. Actually really good. Actually really fucking good. Holy shit. This thing wants to break out. That wants to break out. Oh my God. That is powerful for a dividend stock. To hold a dividend stock. I wonder what is a dividend for this thing? What is a dividend for this thing? Because usually dividend stocks do not give you great capital appreciation. I mean, this one's not going to be great as well. I mean, it's maybe like 10%, but you're getting 10% plus a dividend. That's going to be great. So yeah, fair enough. I'm 58 and I take biotin and B complex along with NMV. Oh my God, it's MNN. Where am I getting V from? Daily for years. Hair is down my back. Hell yeah. Peptides rock too. Yeah. What peptides have you tried for it? Because I've been looking at copper or something like that. Is like CU whatever the fuck. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, NMN. Yes, NMN. Okay, very difficult letters to put together. You are my most watched channel this year. Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah. More power to you, dude. And all the best to you as well, man, for the holiday season and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. All right, McDonald's house. We're gonna end with McDonald's house for today. Nicomedian and Rebos. Oh my God, that's impossible to say. ZKML. Okay, this is some weird crypto. ZKML. Okay, I think I got it here. Yeah, you want to look at this one. Wow, amazing. Oh, I see. Look, I don't have the energy today to like do a perfect analysis for this one, but okay, here's the crazy thing. It probably actually does rally in the short term back to like 5.5 to maybe even 6 cents. It's obviously going down long term though. This fucking dog shit garbage chart. Not you, sir. You obviously know that, but this is a chart very fucking bad. Just terrible. I mean, look at the quarterly. The quarterly is ready to just go on a trend to new lows and new lows and new lows for basically for forever. Most likely for forever. Very likely for forever. Anyways, read my comments, sir. I've been supplementing GHK. Yeah, that's the one that I was looking at. Have you seen good results from it? Anyways, okay, sorry. You are saying on the 5-day, the chart is a limpina, sir. However, I'm on a Hopi mission for a lower high. I bought at 2 cents, and so hoping for a rally to, yeah, I mean, that's basically what I just said. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, you bought at 2 cents. You're already up like more than 2x. You're up 2.5x. I think that you might get like 5.5, 6 cents. I don't think the rally actually stops here just yet. But it's, you got to be so careful with these things because they are garbage. So they can turn down at a moment's notice. But if I had to bet on it, I actually do think you got some upside here. And I do think you got another like 10, maybe 20% to the upside, which is big, obviously. Turn it upside down is bullish. Yeah, just alt plus I. All right, Chris fella. Last one. It's the last of the Mohicans here. Don't shampoo the hair with modern yeah, I've heard this as well. I think also the water quality matters too. Anyways, Bcash. Yeah, we looked at this one over the past few weeks. It's in a good position here, to be fair. Like objectively it is, even though I don't want to like this thing. But I'm going to take the pussy way out and say you got a range here. Your range high and your range low. Basically, the price action pivot's already got the range low at 446, 447. Range high is at 59. It's at 606. So any sort of a weekly closure above there, or even just trading above last week's high, probably going to be good enough for a breakout at that point. I do think that you might see a pretty nice move towards 750, 800-ish region. I personally have a very difficult time saying anything bullish for this thing because I've just only seen it fail and fail and fail again a million fucking times and over. But yeah, man, objectively it is in a good position. I just need to see that breakout, and I think you got a nice little markup here. But like I said, if history's anything to be going off of, this thing will take every opportunity it ever gets to fail and go down, and that's what it likes to do. What's up, Bear Nutrition? What's up, Caretaker? Good to see you guys. By the way, Caretaker, I've been getting into that gun tuber. Holy shit, man! When you talk about extreme astronomical levels of autism, that's my fucking guy. And I love him, man. I fucking love that guy. Like, I truly enjoy watching someone who is just so fucking balls deep into what they enjoy and what they're passionate about. And that guy is that fucking guy. So I'm actually learning a lot from him. Don't know how much of it I'll ever need or want or anything like that, but I should be able to get a gun this week. I'm in the process of getting a gun. Very, very happy about that. Anyways, we shall end things on that note. I want to say a massive thank you for joining in on this nice little semi-holiday stream. We'll be back on. Are we going to do a stream for Wednesday? Hold on. Wait, probably can't do that. Yeah, that's Christmas. I don't know. Maybe we do. It's just the morning, so it's not like I'm doing anything anyways. Say what? That's Eve. So we could actually probably do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. Okay, well, fair enough. All right. It should be fine. Either which way, we'll be back on tomorrow. And other than that, wishing you the best of us as always.